What's up, Stephen Smith? Guys, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Roberto Raad. Welcome to Let's Hug It Out with Roberto Raad. Who else? I'm with the amazing Stephen Smith, content creator and director of owned content. He had me say that, director of owned content. What does that mean for the people that don't understand that?
So I'm not going to get too nitty gritty with it, but in the world of PR and when it comes to a brand, there's paid, earned, owned, and shared in terms of your content and your audiences. A paid audience would be an audience that it's simple. You pay for that audience. It's an ad, it's a billboard. That audience is someone that you're paid for. Earned is an audience that's public relations. And so if you get an earned placement in something, that's earned. Okay. Owned is what I do. Is owned would be your social media channels, your email database, your text message database, any audience that subscribed to you for a reason. So I oversee that, the owned content that is distributed amongst those channels. Copy
that. Okay. And so do brands come to you to look to connect with people that have this own content, or how does that?
I mean, it depends. Like, I think that, when it comes to nowadays, every person has their own, owned content. Content or owned audience. And it's, but every brand does as well. That's why, you go anywhere and they're like, hey, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And then you become a member of their earned or their owned audience.
How does that work on, roll it back a step two for me. How does that work with Instagram as far as do we really own the content that we post on Instagram? I know we own it. We own it to the point where, if I post a photo, I can stop or at least put up an infringement, a claim against someone that posts that same photo, same thing with videos and whatnot. But does Instagram have a right to it? Can they use it for their sort of, if they want to make an ad or whatnot?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I feel like they don't. Okay. And I feel like there's been court things that have happened around this, but I don't think they own it. Okay. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never read the terms of use for Instagram. So I don't know.
Has anyone read the fucking terms? That's like reading the iTunes terms of use. Who has ever read that? I believe South Park touched upon that. Right?
They did. That's the human centipede one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was buried deep within the terms of use. Government's like, nobody ever reads the terms of use. Yeah, the iTunes.
It's the human centipede, but they call it the human centipede.
Yeah. And he's just like, and what is that when the Asian guy's in front? He's just like, oh, I don't know whether to eat cuttlefish or this vanilla pudding. And is it Kyle?
I take the cuttlefish.
Yeah, is it Kyle in the back? That's just like,
don't take the cuttlefish.
Yeah, he's like, please not the cuttlefish. Oh my God, he's like, sorry. And then when he's about to shoot, he's like, sorry, hang on. Oh, so that's bad. One of the most disturbing yet genius episodes. How amazing is it that they're still firing off on all cylinders?
Have you watched any of the behind the scenes stuff about how they do it?
Are you referring to the one with Bill Hader? Bill Hader's in it because he's a part-time writer with them. He often comes on. I don't know how often, but I know he has come
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bill Hader. Yeah, so maybe we were talking about two different things because
maybe it's been a while since I've seen this thing that I'm referencing.
It's like a mini doc. I feel like we're talking about the same thing. I haven't seen it in a moment as well, but Bill Hader's in it, and it goes through their writing process and how they have fast turnarounds of episodes because they need to stay so up on current events.
Yeah,
and they write their episodes really quickly.
They do. It's something like they're able to turn around a full episode of that show from conception to writing to animation and editing, even animation included in that. Yeah. They turn it around in a week.
That's insane.
That's insane
for a half-hour sitcom or animated sitcom. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy from A to Z.
It's so nuts.
But I think that's why that show is still so relevant, so popular, is because it was Matt Parker and Trey Stone. I always want to say Trey Parker. It's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, right? Matt Stone.
I think it's Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah,
not Matt Parker and Trey Stone.
Yeah, it's not that. But they are still in charge of it. They're still contributing. They're still writing. You know what I mean? I think The Simpsons, while I love The Simpsons will always be one of my favorite cartoons ever, if not favorite TV shows of all time. And I'll argue that season, I think it's like 2 through 10, is some of the greatest television ever created. I feel like it clearly, fell off once Matt Groening, the creator of the show, stepped away and wasn't.
I didn't know that he had stepped away, actually.
Yeah, I don't think as far as I know, he's not as highly involved with the show as he used to be.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Simpsons was something where I know it's super beloved and people love that show, but I wasn't allowed to watch it growing up.
Oh, that's right.
And so it was like my parents didn't let me watch The Simpsons growing up. And so a lot of The Simpsons I haven't seen. I've seen, there is a lot that I have seen, but it wasn't something that was regularly on ever at my house.
What other are we all allowed to talk about your background a little bit and with this? Or?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
So Stephen was born and raised Mormon up until almost a year past when I knew you, right? When we met, you were still practicing. Am I correct?
Very active, yeah.
In about a year, not that I'm going to take responsibility, but about a year, it's a little coincidental, but about a year and a half after meeting me, you're like, bye-bye, guys. I'm out of here.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Satan. Hello, devil. No, what's the timeline, though? Is it somewhere in that ballpark? About 2 years?
It's somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
So you were born... Back to the original question that I was going to ask, were there other shows and other programs or movies and whatnot that you were not allowed to partake in as a child? Or was
any rated R movie I didn't see until I was 19.
Yeah,
probably. I only saw a rated R movie not because I was still at that time very much in the church, because I wasn't. You had met me when I was 25.
Yeah.
But by the time that I
young buck of 25.
But yeah, I just started. I didn't really see any rated R movies until I was like 19. And then in terms of shows, I don't know, like nothing. Simpsons was just one that I think that my parents just didn't like it because they thought it was a Trojan horse of a thing, where it's like, it's this animated thing that's giving
really for
kids,
adults.
It's really for adults, yeah.
I mean, in your parents' defense, it is for adults. It's not really a kid show. And it's funny because when it first came out, I remember because I was in grade school, and remember the first season or so focused heavily on Bart. So did the marketing, and the show is more, and it kind of was geared a little bit towards children. It wasn't until the second season, or maybe halfway or somewhere near the first season, I don't remember precisely, they started focusing more heavily on Homer. And so I feel like it sort of made its transition towards being more of an adult themed show. But I always thought of it. Even when I was younger watching it, I was like, oh, this is more adult than what my child brain should be focusing on. And it wasn't until I was older in my college years, and then even older than that after rewatching that I truly appreciated all the nuances and all the different inside jokes that show revealed. Much like if a child were to watch South Park or even Family Guy, they would definitely
South Park's so much more vile, though.
So much more vile. South Park's absolutely not for children, but neither is Simpsons. Simpsons isn't really for kids. My young nephews, they'd be bored by it.
Yeah,
because it's basically a sitcom but animated. A ridiculous sitcom. That's you know what I mean. But what's your hat, by the way? Is that an AT-AT? What is it?
Yeah.
Got
a little at and an A-wing. I think it's an A-wing.
Is it at or AT? I thought it was AT-AT.
So I don't know. I've been accosted for I say AT-AT.
I say at, and I know the level of the Star Wars nerd that you are, so I corrected myself when I said it before I said it.
No,
so I didn't get admonished by you, motherfucker.
No, I say AT-AT, but it's that just goes back to my child. I've just always read it as AT-AT, and it's only because the other one, like the Chicken Walker one, You know what I'm talking about?
The one from Return.
Yeah. That one is an ATST, and no one refers to that as an
at street.
An at saint.
An at street, at saint, or at street. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and so I knew the ATST, and then I referred to the AT-AT as just the AT-AT. Yeah. But it's like, that's just me. It's like, I think there's a lot of Star Wars fans that call it AT-AT, and that if you don't say AT-AT, then you're not a real fan.
By the way, we can finally just, speaking of Star Wars, and then
thank God.
By the way, guys, we do have a topic today. The topic that we have is the pressure to create. Are we all brands now? Content versus art. We're gonna get to all of that, but I have to talk with Steven real quick because I just finished Mandalorian. About a week and a half ago, and I finally, I watch shows. I won't watch multiple shows at once. I'll binge a whole thing. And so I didn't really watch much in between when I watched Mandalorian, but you're right, I was late to it. And it does give me faith again in Disney Star Wars. I'll tell you that. Let's just start off there. So that's an A+. It's overall both seasons together. I'm going to give an A. Because season 2 is an A+, but season 1 is like a B+ for me. I don't know if that averages out to A, or A-, but
you're right. I think season 1 is great, and it's even though it's building on a world that already exists, it does a really good job at continuing that world building, and I think that's great about it.
Yeah.
But it's overall, I think season 1 is it's a B+. It's a B+.
Yeah. But still fun. It's still excellent, and
it's still fun. Yeah.
And season 2, just every episode just knocks it out of the park, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. It just builds upon the other one. I'll tell you which character I'd love to see back is my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, from the Crazies. The cowboy at the very beginning. Gosh, what's the actor's name?
Yeah, Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, what's the actor's name?
Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant, brilliant actor. What's that show on FX? God damn it!
Justified?
What's that?
Justified.
Justified. Yes, he's great on Justified. Timothy Olyphant. I'd love to see that character come back. I hope they bring him back for season 3.
Well, I mean, now that they've so there's a new show that's coming out called Rangers of the New Republic. And I think that they had set it up to be that it would Gina Carano was going to be one of the big people on that.
Yeah,
and now she's gone. And so my bet is that they're going to bring Cobb Vanth's character to be one of the Rangers of the New Republic. My hope, none of this is confirmed, but my hope is that it's going to be Cobb Vanth. I don't remember his character's name. Bill Burr's character.
Mm-hmm. I love Bill Burr. I love that he's acting in this.
He's good, honestly. So in season 1, I have to say the episode with him in season 1 is my least favorite episode.
Yeah, the one where on the jail ship.
Yeah, I hate that episode.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
So it's kind of lame for me. But in season 2, though, when they brought him back, I was like I like Bill Burr, but I was just like, why do we need to see this character again? But then they bring him back, and they have that sequence where it's the Blue Eyes sequence. That's just kind of what I refer to it as, and it's where they're talking. It's him and Mando, and they're talking to that Imperial officer. And calls Mando Blue Eyes. It reminds me a lot of what's that movie? What's that movie? It's
I don't know. Give me any sort of hint.
Oh, Inglourious Basterds.
Oh,
it reminds me of the opening of Inglourious Basterds. Or even there's another scene later where they're sitting at a table together, and one of them knows. I don't know. It's like it reminds me of that movie.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, the scene where it goes like 3 instead of 3, the German 3, and that's a telltale sign that gives it away that he's called for the wrong number within that language, and that tells the German soldier that he's indeed an imposter. And Bill Burr just shows a lot of really almost cool restraint in that show. He's like, it didn't work out for all the men and, soldiers that we lost that day. And, the Imperial officer's like, well, that's, casualties of war or whatever dickish comment he says. and then Bill Burr just wastes him. Sorry, spoiler alert for
Yeah.
people who haven't seen the. But yeah, that's a great. Bill Burr was fantastic in that, and just to touch upon, because I know we've already talked about this, and I don't want to go deep into a debate about the Gina. How do you even say her last name?
Carano.
Carano. Yeah,
Yeah, her parents actually own almost all the casinos here in Reno.
Do they really? Oh wow! So
yeah,
she comes
the Carano family.
She comes from a casino family.
Yeah, so she comes from money. She'll be fine.
She'll be fine. I mean, I get it from a business perspective. I understand. For those that don't know, Gina Carano played which character on Mandalorian? She was the
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune, that's right. And am I crazy? I thought she was good. I didn't think she was great. I think she's not my favorite character by any stretch of the imagination. I read that she's a fan favorite of people's, right? But I don't know. It's I've gone back and forth. I know we've discussed this in a little bit, but she posted those things on Twitter and Instagram or both maybe. And which have recently been taken down, but these days that's not enough. It's gonna be seen by everyone and retweeted and screenshot and all that jazz. And Disney, as a business, I get it. They axed her, and they want no part of it. So as a business, I get it. From Disney's perspective, it makes sense. You know what I mean? They want no part of this controversy. They're like, post about Star Wars, lady. You know what I mean? Post about fun. Don't post those things. And I'm sure that she got a warning or two.
Yeah,
somewhere she must have. This couldn't have been out of the blue for her, right?
No, and that's the thing though, is I think that everyone, including myself, has had a range of opinions on this. But at the end of the day, we don't know what happened. We don't know what conversations went on behind the scenes, and we don't know how many warnings, or if she got any warnings, or what. We don't know if that happened.
I have to be honest. The post, while I don't agree with the post, I don't agree with her post at all. I wonder what she posted. She posted, the pictures of the Jews being chased by Nazis or being chased by their neighbors, or
something
she's
like that.
basically
Yeah,
saying that,
and that's
this
the
is,
example that she was giving.
That this is people that are support Trump are basically being treated like this, or at least that's what it's leading to, right? And she compared it wasn't the Nazis immediately just going in and banging on people's doors; it was their neighbors that were turned against them initially, right? There was something of that. I'm futzing it up, but while I disagree with her post and I disagree with the comparison, and I disagree with a lot of what I looked at some of her social, and I disagree with a lot of what she thinks and says. I feel like that post on its own, while absolutely a heavy fuck up on her part, that I can agree with. And once again, I agree with Walt Disney coming back. I agree with Disney and what they made, the decision they made from a business perspective. I don't know. There must be a lot more to it than just that singular post, right? Because I feel like does the punishment fit the crime? And you know what I mean? And I don't know the answer to that. But I think that goes back to what you just said, where we don't know the whole story. There has to be more. You know? I know that she put on her at her top of her profile, I think she made fun of the trans movement, right? With she put bippity boppity bop or something instead of
Yeah, so people have he/him.
Yeah.
For theirs, and for her, she put boop bop beep or
beep
something like
or
that.
Something like that, making fun of that. So I guess that, along with the Nazi whatever post.
Yeah, I think that this is my guess as to what happened. My guess is that there have been a lot of posts that she has made over the course of not just very recently, but over the course of a year. And this movement of people saying "Fire Gina Carano," it was a trending hashtag. And
before this final post,
before all of this happened, it was a trending hashtag for a little bit saying "Fire Gina Carano."
For what? For what posts?
For just I don't know if it was a specific post, but it's something. She's just been she's been controversial on social media, and she's said, and whether it be her doing any sort of mask shaming, or whether it be her doing
anti-masker,
feeding into. Yeah, and feeding into anti-voter or the voter conspiracy stuff.
Oh, okay.
And or the voter whatever you call it. But she's fed into that, and she's fed into several controversial topics: trans rights, voting, like the voter conspiracy thing, and how Trump actually won. She's fed into that. She's fed into the whole, lots of controversial far right things, and all of those things I think by themselves are just annoying, if anything. Yeah. But I think after a while, Disney sees that and they're as like, a collective, this is a detriment to our brand.
Yeah, like I said, it makes sense from Disney's perspective. Like I said, and once again, I don't agree with her, and I don't agree with her politics, and I don't agree with her posting. And were it me, fuck, dude, if I had a show on Disney, I'm not, I'm hiring someone to make sure my posts are okay. I mean, whether that's wrong or right, or you disagree with that, or you think that's bitch or whatever. I mean, I
don't think so at all.
I'm going to protect. If Disney's made an investment in me, I'm going to certainly do everything within my power to protect that. And if that means I can't just post, what I want on this, and fuck it, dude, the Disney job would be of the utmost importance. Clearly, she must have been like, fuck it, what are they going to do? Or something. Who knows what she thought? Or like, my ideas about this are too strong for me to just ignore it. She must feel that feel that adamant about her political beliefs.
Yeah. Well, and the rumor is that Jon Favreau has went to her. I don't know if this is verified. Yeah. The rumor is that Jon Favreau went to her and was like, "Hey, you gotta stop. You gotta clean up your act.
You gotta chill." Yeah.
And she not only didn't clean it up, but she doubled down on everything.
Yeah.
Like,
that's funny that you mentioned Jon Favreau and double down, because I think that's from Swingers. It was like you always double down on the women or whatever. You know what I mean? But then
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn says, "Oh, double down," and he's like, "I don't want to double." He's like, "Double down," and then he's like, and then he loses the hand, and then he's like, Vince Vaughn's like, "You always double down," and Jon Favreau's like, "Well, apparently not always." Apparently you don't always double down.
That's his first movie, isn't it?
That's their first film, yeah. I believe Gus Van Sant directed that. But
first movie.
Yeah, that's Favreau's, well, not his first movie that he acted in. He was in Rudy, and he was in a bunch of other stuff beforehand.
But that he directed.
He also didn't direct it. That's his first movie that he wrote.
He wrote it. He wrote it.
He wrote that movie. And once again, I think it's Gus Van Sant that directed it. I could be totally fucking wrong. But let me just look it up real quick, because it's going to bother me. And if I don't get it right, Swingers director, and the answer is Doug Liman. Excuse me, not Gus Van Sant.
Oh, we were both wrong.
You were both wrong. Yeah, Doug Liman. Why did I think it was Gus Van Sant? What did Gus Van Sant did? What movies is he? Oh, okay.
Saint?
Oh, he's Good Will Hunting. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry, Gus Van Sant directed Good Will Hunting, and I actually mix those two up, because that Good Will Hunting is what started Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and Swingers is what starred Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. Very much that was Vince Vaughn's movie. So I know that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote Good Will Hunting, and then had a famous director direct it, and same thing with Swingers. Jon Favreau wrote Swingers, but had a famous director, which was Doug Liman, directed. So I actually mixed those two plot lines, or timelines up a little bit.
Yeah. Man, Jon Favreau, though, he's had a really interesting career.
He's an amazing career. Yeah.
He started the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes,
because he did Iron Man.
Iron Man, which once again is still to this day my favorite MCU movie, and in my top 3 all-time comic movies. The other two being the original Superman and then Dark Knight. But
it's great, and he did that. He did Elf.
Elf,
this holiday classic.
It's fantastic. Elf is one of the best Christmas movies ever. It's definitely up there.
He did Chef. I don't know if you ever saw Chef.
I never saw Chef, but I need to see Chef. I know he did Jumanji.
He didn't do Jumanji.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
Jumanji
what?
Director.
The original Jumanji?
Jumanji director is... Oh, it's Jake. It's not. It's Jake Kasdan and Joe Johnston. I thought he did Jumanji.
He didn't do Jumanji.
Didn't he do something? He did something like that. Yeah, he did. He directed. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Chef Eye, Mandalorian. Why is he under Lion King?
Because he directed it.
Oh, right. Okay.
He directed Lion King, and he directed the new Lion King, the shitty remake, but
Okay.
fine. But and then he also did the remake of Jungle Book.
Oh, he did Zathura. That's what it was. Sorry. I don't
Okay,
know.
that's basically Space Jumanji.
Okay,
So.
thank you. So I'm not completely crazy. Okay, he did. Yeah, so he started. So after I mean, Jon Favreau was just an amazing director. I would kill to work with him. I would kill. He after he did Swingers, he directed and wrote this movie called Made, which is kind of a loose sequel to Swingers in a way, but kind of like the way that Casino was thought of it's not a direct sequel, just like Casino was thought of as a sequel from Goodfellas with Martin Scorsese.
It's like a spiritual sequel.
Yeah. It wasn't a direct sequel. Similar characters, that's the only thing. But yeah, those are two. I mean, you would really enjoy Made and Swingers. You would really enjoy them. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend seeing those two films.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
But yeah, imagine that, and then to Iron Man, and then he's just, I mean, to direct all those MCU movies as well as now jumping into the Mandalorian. That's
he started the MCU and then basically saved Star Wars.
Yes, because going back to what we said in the beginning, Mandalorian saved Star Wars for me because people should know how I feel about the sequels, and not in a mean fanboy way. And I don't hate on some of the things that some other fanboys hate on, but it's funny. I was just about to send you this link, and it showed it was a deleted scene from Last Jedi that's just Luke after Han dies, or it's just him by himself, and he's just like,
I've seen that clip.
He's so overwrought with pain, and it's just like there's so much emotion going on in him. I was like, why the fuck was that cut out?
I know.
And it just, but I mean, I know you're a defender of Last Jedi, and we won't do the whole podcast on that, but we can at least agree on Rise of Skywalker being absolute trash. But either way,
so
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go, because if you're going to say something about, I was about to move us back to Mandalorian, but go ahead.
So here's how I feel about the Rise of Skywalker is, well, one, as I feel the same way, I feel a similar way of the Rise of Skywalker that I do about season 8 of Game of Thrones, in the sense that
season 8's the final season, right?
Final season of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I don't mind the direction that it headed. Like,
okay,
I don't mind where it landed. That's fine. It's fine where it landed.
Right.
It's how we got there that really bothers me. Yeah. Because if they want to bring back Palpatine, fine. Like, that is fine, as long as it is explained and there is justification for it. But now there's been interviews that have come out of Daisy Ridley, and then you juxtapose that with things that were said at the very beginning and also at like the release of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And they had no idea what they were doing.
They had no idea. It's so bothersome.
But they lied and said that they did, and that they were like, yeah, we've had this planned out since the beginning. Yeah. They said that at Disney Celebration, or at the Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
They had asked, they were like, hey, was it the plan to have Palpatine in the beginning? And they were like, yeah, it was planned from the beginning to bring Palpatine back. Mm-hmm. And then Daisy Ridley was like, actually, no, we had no idea that was ever, that I was, they changed it while they were filming it. While they were filming The Rise of Skywalker, they changed that.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most disappointing thing. And it's the same with Game of Thrones, is that where it ended, I'm fine with where it ended, but it's how we got there that it just bothers me the most.
Yeah, Palpatine coming. I mean, fuck, dude. I would have rather seen a full movie with Kylo versus the Knights of Ren.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Or I would have rather seen, once Rian Johnson came and took it in the direction, which I disagree with wholeheartedly, but I would have still, even though I disagree with his direction, I would have rather seen him continue his through line or whatever the fuck was going on in his head for Rise of Skywalker than have JJ. It was like having 3 opposing directors, then they were just like undoing what the previous person had done. And it's crazy.
But the original script, though, for Episode 9, which was Colin Trevorrow, who did Jurassic World, he was the original director for Episode 9.
Really?
And then, so he was originally, so they announced at the very beginning, they said, it's going to be J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Colin Trevorrow are going to be the 3 directors of these movies. And everyone's like, cool, sweet. And the one that everyone was the most nervous about was Colin Trevorrow, because he'd done Safety Not Guaranteed, which is an indie flick.
Yeah, I know.
Very good. I really liked it.
Movie.
He did that movie.
Aubrey Plaza.
And then he did. Yeah, Aubrey Plaza's in that. It's so good. And then they pulled him to do Jurassic World, which was it's fine.
Yeah,
like it's whatever.
It's fun.
But
it's whatever. Yeah, I agree.
It's fun.
Whatever.
But then he did this movie called The Book of Henry that flopped, and people got worried. And then Carrie Fisher died, and his script relied really heavily on Carrie Fisher, and apparently they just couldn't rework it, and so they fired him, and then they brought on J.J. Abrams, and then wrote a completely new script. And so his original movie was called Duel of the Fates, and it's a completely different movie. It's totally different. There's no Palpatine at all in the whole script. Finn has an actual arc as a character.
Yeah.
He leads this whole stormtrooper rebellion on Coruscant, which is now this dilapidated shithole.
This movie sounds amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, the script for it is legit. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. And Kylo Ren is haunted by the ghost of Luke Skywalker in it.
Oh my God. Why are we not getting that movie?
I know.
Oh,
it is an objectively better movie.
Because Finn got done.
They just couldn't.
Yeah, Finn got done dirty, man. Finn got done dirty. Like fucking. In
my mind, I pretend that Duel of the Fates is the actual movie that we got. You can look it up. People have done they will do basically a summary of the script, and it's rad. Like, it's really cool. It's not perfect, and in fact, there's some bad things in it. What Poe and Rey fall in love in it, which I think is stupid.
Yeah.
But
see, here's the thing: the prequels, you can argue with the prequels as much as you want as far as execution and this and that, but at the very least, their story, as far as canon is concerned, really supplemented the original trilogy quite well.
Yeah.
And gave us Clone Wars and gave us all that jazz, and really brought things full circle. That if you watch them with the original trilogy, it fits really nicely as far as themes and story and character arcs are concerned. And then the sequels kind of just come in and just vomit over all of it. And it's crazy because didn't we talk about this? Duel of the Fates is the name of the piece of music. That's the fight between Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan in Episode 1 near the end, right?
Yeah.
That's a song that's played, right? It's Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Did you watch the thing about Dave Filoni?
I need to continue watching that about Dave Filoni, another genius. Now I need to watch the behind the scenes. I didn't yet. Anyway, back to Mandalorian really quick, and then we'll move on to our actual topic. 30 minutes in, I loved it. I once again I give it an A. It gave me hope again. It gave me hope, just like I would say. In Star Wars and Disney again. So I'm excited to see what else they do. They better have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau behind it because they clearly know what the heck they're doing. And and as far as the actress Gina Carano, whatever her name is, Carano, thank you.
Oh, Cara Dune, yeah.
I feel like she's replaceable. I feel like you know what I mean.
Replaceable.
I don't think you could replace too many of the other actors or actresses, but I feel like she's fairly replaceable. Once again, I didn't love or hate her, but I was like, okay.
Yeah. One more last Star Wars question I have for you.
Yeah.
I could literally talk about Star Wars.
Yeah,
we could do a 5-hour podcast.
Let's just, guys, the new topic is Star Wars again.
Oh, by the way, real quick, I got something.
What do you got? What do you got there?
I think you'd like.
Okay, let me see.
I got it. It's a Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that looks like it's from Empire, right?
Yeah, it's an Empire Hoth Luke Skywalker.
Dude, I love it. That is nice.
It's pretty new.
By the way, is that for your birthday? By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to Steven. Happy birthday! Is that what, did your wife get you that for your birthday, or did you just pick that up in your?
No, she got me that for my mom. Actually, got me that for Christmas.
Oh, go mom! Yay!
Yeah, and for my birthday, Sally got me a. I have that one is Grand Admiral Thrawn. So.
Okay, I can't see that far.
Here.
Yeah, let's just get a taste of Grand Admiral.
Yeah, I have one of Mando too. But yeah, it's Thrawn.
Now, what is he from? Because he's not from the movies.
No, so Thrawn is from
the comics.
No, he's from the books actually. So in the 90s, in like early 90s, they George Lucas wanted to do more like actual books.
Okay.
And he said they couldn't go before Episode 4. They could go after Return of the Jedi. Though. That's where everything could go. They could do anything in that time period, but he wanted to eventually do the prequels.
Okay.
And so he said, they did these books, and the books were called Heir to the Empire, and they are so good. Like, they're so, so good. And that's where Thrawn comes in. So Thrawn becomes the heir to the Empire. He basically takes the Emperor's place.
Oh, wow.
And his history is, he's this race that's called a Chiss. But his history, though, is that he has a naval background. And so he flies the Star Destroyers and things like that. And he's freaking ruthless. And he's a really good villain. And so there's a whole trilogy, and it's Luke, Han, and Leia are in it. It takes place around the time where Mandalorian's taking place, and where it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and that's where Thrawn's introduced. And they actually mention his name. They're bringing him into live action.
Oh, wow.
Because he's in, so the episode when you meet Ahsoka in Mandalorian, and she's like questioning that lady at the very end. She like fights that lady. Yes. Spoilers for Mando, but she's fighting. She fights that lady, and she goes up to him, and she's like, "I want to know who your master is, or where your master is." And then she says, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?"
Oh shit! Okay,
so that's who that is.
Now, what is Mando going to do? I mean, Luke's got spoiler alerts, guys. Spoiler alerts. Luke's got Baby Yoda, so. Mando's just going to go off in a totally different direction of Baby Yoda, or it's just crazy to me. They got to figure out a way.
Well, I don't know, because like the thing is like it would be so stupid for Disney to not bring back Grogu, Baby Yoda. Yeah. He is a fucking cash cow for them.
He's got to be.
It would be stupid for them to not bring him back.
But and what would be the story? You know what I mean?
I think what it's going to be is that, so we know much later is that Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, eventually kills all of the students at Luke's academy.
Oh shit!
And so now Baby Yoda's basically walking into a death trap, and so it's a time bomb at this point.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think that maybe Mando will save him, or I don't know. Yeah. It's like that's. We know that's on the horizon and that's coming.
I love Boba Fett's character.
Boba Fett? Oh, he's so cool.
He's so badass. I'm so happy we got him.
The thing is they made him so much cooler for some reason.
So much cooler. Yeah. And I love the what's the actress's name from Battlestar Galactica?
Katie Sackhoff.
Yes. She's fantastic.
Yeah. She's great. She voiced, so Bo-Katan was in Clone Wars. That character comes from Clone Wars and the show Rebels, and she voices that character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a great actor. Have you ever watched Battlestar Galactica? Not the original, but the remake that she's in? Fucking fantastic. You should watch the whole A++. You should watch the whole thing from beginning to end. That is
really
it's that good? It's that good. It's A++. It's my favorite sci-fi show of all time. I mean, it's not. Now, I was never into Star Trek, so I don't even know what sci-fi show I'd compare it to. It's in my top 10 favorite shows of all time. I know that. It's that good. It's fucking amazing. I don't even want to tell you.
Where do you watch it? Where can you stream it?
It's got to be on somewhere. Netflix. You should watch. Everyone, if you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, it's fucking fantastic.
I'll have to look it up.
I mean, and
you know the creator of it's Mormon?
No, I didn't know that. The original or
the original?
Yeah, no, I would not have guessed that. Interesting. I wonder if it has, and I wonder if you watch it and you're like, oh, I can see some Mormon undertones, themes here.
It does. So in I've never watched it, but I know the overlap that happens is that in this is deep, but in Mormon theology, they believe that God lives on a planet called Kolob.
Wow. Okay.
So Kolob, and one of the planets in the original Battlestar Galactica has like a similar name. It's like Kobol or something.
Yeah, there's a Kobol.
Yeah, that's where that comes from.
Wow. Okay. I did not know Battlestar Galactica had Mormon roots. That's all right. Hey, you know what I mean? There's good and bad with every religion, and that's clearly one of the good things to come out of Mormonism is Battlestar Galactica. Amongst probably
little did Joseph Smith know that down the road it would turn into Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? If we needed Mormonism to get us Battlestar Galactica, then sign me up. Sign me up. And we got you as well. So,
thanks.
You know, and you're one of the good people. Yeah, let's get in because we're already 40 minutes deep. Let's get into real quick. Final thing on Mando. This is your fault. We should have just made Star Wars the fucking topic. I don't know why.
We should have just made it.
I don't know why I had you on and tried to talk about something, you know, of this realm.
I know.
But I was such a big fan. They have to bring back Baby Yoda. But really, and I knew that I watched it and I already knew that Luke Skywalker, once again, spoiler alert, folks, sorry, Luke Skywalker shows up then, but I didn't know about R2. And when R2 showed up, I'm not saying I full cried, but I was like, I literally rewatched that scene like 4 times in a row. And
that scene's sick.
It's so sick. And I don't mind, you know, obviously I was like, okay, how are they going to do Luke? I was like, okay, they're clearly going to have to make him digital. Did Mark Hamill actually come in to do that? Or did that? Oh, he did. And they just digitized it. Yeah. I mean, having R2 in there.
Well, it's an actor that played the body of Luke.
Okay.
But it's Mark Hamill's face and voice.
Okay. So what's so great about that is we never really got to see Luke other than, you know, books or comics or whatnot or spin-off shows really go off and show his true powers. I've always maintained that Luke, and I think we've actually had this discussion back when we did trailer trashing, who the most powerful...
Oh, man, that's a flashback.
Yeah, who the most... for those who don't know, trailer trashing was the show on Slap TV, our former YouTube channel, where we talked about different trailers and whatnot. But then we have a spin-off episode, where we talked about who the most powerful person or being is in the
Star Wars character. And DJ Icon.
Yeah, he was with us. That's correct. Yeah. DJ Icon
did Princess Leia.
Yeah, he dressed as Princess Leia. That's correct. And I chose. Do you remember who? I don't remember who you chose, but I chose Luke. I don't know if you chose Palpatine or who you chose. But I still to this day
I don't know.
Yeah, not to get into a whole debate, but I still maintain that Luke is the most powerful being within the entire Star. Now, once again, I don't know as much deep canon as you do, as far as the books and comics and some of the cartoons are concerned. But as far as the films are concerned, Luke to me is hands down the most powerful Jedi, or being rather between any Jedi and Sith. Rather than make that argument, I would say it was nice to see him utilizing his full potential and using his full powers within that scene. And I was like, oh, just because we've never seen him go off like that.
No, yeah, and that's I actually thought about this, and it's like, so I love The Last Jedi. Yeah. I actually watched it. I've seen it probably 20 times. I love it. I watched it again the other day, but I did, like, it was less than a week ago. I watched it. And but that being said, I get why people are upset by that movie. Yeah. In regards to how Luke was portrayed.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, and I didn't really understand it until because I loved The Last Jedi. From, like, when I left the theater, I was like, well, that was different, but I really liked it. Mm-hmm. And then over time it grew on me. Mm-hmm. But then it wasn't until I saw that final episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian and how just badass that was, and you saw the reaction of people online. And I finally understood. I was just like, oh, you know what? It's people have been waiting longer than most things in cinematic history. They've been waiting to see Luke, like not just Luke Skywalker, but Grand Master Jedi Luke Skywalker,
badass of the galaxy,
ham on people. This badass. People have been wanting to see that. And again, I understand the story decision of why they chose not to do that. I understand it, but I also understand why people were upset with what we got in the movie. I get it. And that's why I think Mando was so highly just praised.
Yeah.
Because people were like, oh my God, finally we can
do you think they did that as a makeup? Do you think you think that was one of the reasons behind bringing Luke back, was as like, hey, we know that people want to see Luke and they want to see him in this way? You think that had something to do with it? That had to have been in the back of Favreau's or whoever, wrote that episode. I think he wrote it, his mind a little bit at least.
Yeah, he did write it. And I think that he didn't direct it though. Peyton Reed directed that one.
Okay.
But that one, I could see that though. And here's the thing, not just from like this would be cool and people would like it sort of thing. I think from a brand management standpoint, I could see them being like, you know what, the fan base ever since The Last Jedi has been really fractured. This might be a way to like bring people back together. I could see that.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, a lot of people were like, people love that. And it really, I think in some ways healed the fandom.
I absolutely agree. I do. Fantastic. Anyway, let's get to, because we have about 20 minutes left.
I know.
Star Wars plus some of this other topic, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's pretty much the rest. That's the definition of my life, by the way.
Star Wars, and then the day, sort of. The day, yeah. Are you still working remote? Yeah.
Fully remote.
Yeah, fully remote. I like it. Hold on, wait. Am I hearing something? Yeah, that's okay. Okay, let's get into our topic, and that topic is the pressure is Star Wars. The pressure to create, are we all brands now, content versus art, all that jazz. And I don't know, I'm going to start with you and ask a question. Do you feel when you get off, aside from your job, right? Because your job requires you to create a certain amount of content for work, and that's how you make money and all that jazz. So aside from work, because you do social media, do you feel like, oh shit, I didn't post in a while. Oh, I didn't tweet in a while, or I didn't do this in a while. I feel this urge to do it. And if so, why?
So the only platform that I feel like that on, that I feel the need to do it rather than the desire to do it is Instagram for me. Instagram for me has become, and don't get me wrong, like it's a double-edged sword, because on one end, Instagram for me has been, so I work with a lot of the clients that I work with and have had the really like insane privilege to work with over the past 4+ years, have been a lot of travel clients. And so I've gotten destination marketing, and I've gotten to go to a lot of really cool places. And in that, I've had the opportunity to take photos for those and do video and create a lot of content for those. And I've used a lot of that to both fuel my desire to explore and want to find new places to take a photo of. And I'd never really had a love for landscape photography before that. And now that's what I do a lot of. And a lot of my Instagram page is a lot of that. Yeah. But it's created this thing where it's like, it's not just Instagram never really told me this. It's like almost society has told me like, oh yeah, if you don't post a lot, then your engagement's going to go down. And engagements become this like validation metric where I'm like, well, I don't want that to go down. People need to know that I'm like good at what I do. Yeah. And then I just feel this urge to like constantly push stuff out there. And then when I don't, and it's weird though, because like I rewind back to like the beginning days of Instagram, and I would go months in between posting. I would post and I just some random thing. I'm like, here's a bagel I ate. I don't know. It's like, it'd be like it'd be like months in
Yeah.
between. And now if I go over a week without posting, I get it in my mind where I'm just like, well, I must not take this seriously. And I must just be like, I'm not a content creator. Who am I? Do I even have a job?
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird. Like, but it's only Instagram. That's the only platform I feel like that on.
Well, I guess it comes down to how you use each platform, right? I think I had this discussion with G. Wilson when we talked about social media burnout a few podcasts ago. And for me, I use
Love G.
Yeah, G's the best, dude. He's the greatest, and
he's great.
He just wrote this script that I'm in the middle of reading about this. It's about this vapor, like this vape like sort of horror movie thing. It's really fun. But I'll let him tell you about it next time you guys talk or whatever. But Facebook for me is connecting kind of like with family and whatnot, because I have family in Brazil and Australia and Lebanon that I don't, get to contact, get to speak with, on the reg. And I don't know if Facebook is better, but here we are, 2021. And I use it primarily for that. It's, to fuck around. Sometimes there's some fun stuff on there, but for the most part, I don't really Facebook that much. Twitter, I'm on probably the most, and I use that for, for news, for comedy, to see what's going on and whatnot. Obviously I get news alerts from CNN and Yahoo and all that jazz, and CNET and MSNBC and all that shit. But Twitter is just like, oh, what the fuck's going down, and that's consumption. Plus, I sometimes tweet, and sometimes maybe I want to learn a thing or two. Instagram, I don't know, that's when I have that. I'm like, okay, should I just be doing my own thing? Or I'm an actor and director and creator as well. I should be really building my brand. Or I just want to post, this fun pic that I took. I want to post my family. I feel like with Instagram, I'm not consistent enough. Like, I haven't posted, like, the last thing I posted was myself and my 2 nephews on the beach in Florida. And it was like a TBT photo that I posted maybe 3 weeks ago. And I haven't posted since.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't, I mean, same thing. I feel the same way with stories. Like, sometimes like, oh, this will be fun to post right now. And then it's just too random. I don't know. There are times when I feel like really like I should be taking it, like you just said, a lot more seriously, because it only behooves me to help build my brand, right? As a creator, as an actor and whatnot, being in the arts. But then there are times when I was like, like I was, I had a nice weekend this past weekend. I was in Los Angeles, and we were doing some fun things, and went for a hike and took a lot of photos and whatnot. And I ended up just sending some of the photos to my family as a group chat with WhatsApp. Yeah. I ended up just sending them to that, and I was like, oh, I'll post these on Instagram later, and I never did. And then later on I was like, wait, why do I need to post these just to let people know that I'm like, what is the purpose behind it? And I guess
I know it becomes bragging, and it's like you almost have to tell, and not just bragging. I feel like Instagram in some ways. I was actually talking to James recently, James Probst, and one of the things. Good. He's good. Yeah, he's doing really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the things that I was talking about with him in regards to Instagram is that, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
We were talking about not posting. It was just like, why am I posting this right now? I went on the hike and I
yeah. Instagram, I think for many people becomes it, like Facebook and Twitter are what they are, but Instagram is like a snapshot of the person you aspire to be. It's not who you really are. It's who you aspire to be. And you post on there a select microscopic view of different sections of your life to showcase the world, so they can see, like, if you look at mine, you're like, oh, there's a lot of hiking stuff on here, and there's a lot of outdoor pictures. And you would just think that, like, I've had many people ask me, they're like, oh, do you live in Tahoe? I'm like, I don't. I live in Reno. I don't live in Tahoe.
I would think, looking at your Instagram, that you lived in Tahoe, or at least, like, hiked every day.
And I don't.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, but it's like, I think a lot of people in many ways, whether it's, for better or for worse, they post who they aspire to be.
Yeah.
On Instagram. Whereas, like, Twitter for me, full circle, baby. I only use Twitter to talk about Star Wars. Like, I feel bad.
You can't get away from it, can you, kid?
For anybody that follows me for professional reasons, any sort of networking that I've done, And people are like, "Oh, follow Steven on Twitter." I'm sorry, I feel so bad for them because it's literally just me engaging with other Star Wars accounts, and I get no engagement.
Yeah,
no one engages with my shit.
Yeah, I think I don't use social to the best of my ability. I don't use it to really utilize it to its full potential. I don't think. Because I feel like you could really use it to build yourself and build a brand, but you have to really be consistent and really work at it, and I'm just I can't fuck with it that hard too much,
Well, that's Gary Vaynerchuk's whole thing.
Yeah, he's on it.
His whole thing is just he's on it all the time. And
it looks exhausting. It's relentless posting, and it's just exhausting. And I get that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'd rather just fucking read a book. And
I know.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jim.
But then again, I still own his book. I own Crush It. Like, actually, my computer's sitting on it right now because I wanted to host it up. And this is my ghetto way of getting my camera to be a little bit slightly more elevated. But I mean, I save a lot of it. So I'll tell you what I have been doing lately is when I find a post, I was like, oh, this could be useful down the line, or this is something that can motivate me. I like Instagram to save kind of things that I'm like, oh, I can go through my save things and be like, oh, this is an interesting video that kind of inspires me, or here's this post on color tones and how it's utilized in Blade Runner 2049, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it for that. But it also has a double-edged sword, feeling to it. And that's the comparison culture, which is just like, I can feel really good. And then I can I follow like my agents and managers and whatnot. This is just a typical actor thing, and they'll post, somebody books something, and it might not even be something. Most of the time it's not something that I've actually, even gone out on, meaning I haven't auditioned for it, but I'll see them, posting something, which they should. You should record all your wins. I'm a firm believer in that. But then I was like, oh gosh darn it, I want to be booking. I want that to be me, and I'll feel bad for a moment. But then I'll come around and be like, no, you know what? That doesn't have any effect on me. That's just something that I saw, and that should, if anything, motivate me to want to book, and I want to be on. So now, like in my mind, I'm like, I want to be the next story that they repost about booking something, But it's weird. It's set like literally. I woke up the other morning. I remember I was like sitting, and I just had breakfast, and then the sun was out, and I was reading. I was in the middle of reading this Stephen King's on writing, and I was taking my notes because I like to note take when I write when I read because I'm a nerd. And
no, it's cool.
And and for whatever reason, my ADD forced me onto my phone. And I looked at, or I might have gotten a notification. I forget the exact reason why, but I went online and I clicked on their story and I saw that. And then I went down like a 4-minute rabbit hole of feeling shitty simply by opening up an app. And then I have to put it down and I have to like reset my fucking brain and get myself trained back to my fucking book and writing. And
dude, I relate.
Yeah.
I relate to just on the subject of when it comes to, like I follow a lot of photographers on Instagram, and I'll see them posting stuff, and I'm like, I'm not doing enough. They're creating all the time. What am I doing with my life? I'm not doing enough.
Right.
And so I feel the same way, and it's like it's weird though because Instagram makes me feel that way, where I feel like I'm not doing enough with my life, and I'm not posting enough, and I'm not creating enough. And or all of my stuff is shit. Like I'm like, well, that's never going to be as good as this.
Yeah.
But then I go on Facebook, and Instagram makes me feel terrible about myself, whereas Instagram makes me feel terrible
about yourself, but Facebook makes you feel terrible about others.
Yes. I go on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, I'm related to a bunch of racists and like all these fucking bigots. Like,
oh, that's fucking amazing. Yeah,
that's just the world that we're in right now.
That is
like I feel like, and I don't think anyone did this intentionally. No. I think that like these platforms were all built to connect people, and instead that was the worst thing that we ever could have done. Because it's like, no, like I'm fine with the people I'm connected to directly. I don't need to be connected to thousands of people all the time.
People aren't meant to be that connected. And now they are.
I think this is a hard lesson we're learning.
Yeah, it's a lesson that ain't going away because there's no turning back the clock on that.
Oh, the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah, the genie is definitely out of the bottle. Out of the bottle. But that's interesting. I never feel bad after going on Twitter. Because it's just, I mean,
Feel bad?
I never feel bad about myself after going on Twitter because I'm not comparing myself to anything. Unless it's a really.
I don't feel about myself. I feel worse for humanity when I go on Twitter, though.
Yeah, because Twitter can absolutely be a bit of a dumpster fire, as far as
it's a cesspool.
Yeah. We have to really, manage what you read and what you watch, and kind of go through it with this is something G was saying. You have to kind of go through it with a thick skin, and he was talking about having to have, a very solid base in order to deal with the shit of social media. You should have a very solid base, and I think you probably do this as well, where you go outdoors quite a bit. You hike. You have lots of hobbies. It seems like obviously Star Wars will call that a hobby, and you hike and you balance. And you bike, right? I see a mountain bike to your right side, my left, and so you seem to balance your life.
Yeah,
where you take care of your health. And that might help, G's like, I got to take care of my health so I can have a thicker skin, because he does social media for a living as well. And he's like, I got to have a thick skin when I go onto some of these platforms, or else my brain gets crushed. Instagram, similar thing where it's the comparison thing. Twitter, being like, oh my God, humanity is fucked. And Facebook being like, most people are shit. So, like anything, you can, there's the good and the bad with everything. I don't think you can have one without the other. But looking at any of these platforms, it's like when you wake up, that's like when I see these influencers that are just like every day. I mean, fuck, if that's their job and that's what they're doing, God bless them. It's just not my jam. You know what I mean? I had a self-tape audition, and when I get those, like, that's just like my primary focus. And when it comes into that, I was like, okay, I get that. If I get this, I get the callback, I book, I get, I go to some place to film somewhere on set, and that's it. But the constant stuff on your phone, I don't know. It's just not. And who knows? Maybe that'll change someday. You know what I mean? There are times I'm like, oh man, I should start doing some more sketches online and on my phone. And I'm just like, my brain just doesn't my passion's not there for it. So therefore, I don't know if my if it's gonna ring true if I start executing it. Then I'm like, if I start, I gotta really continue doing it.
Yeah. It's hard to know what's right and what's not, though, because I think that there's a lot of comedians, there's a lot of going back to Jon Favreau, people like that, those people aren't on social media, and they don't have a presence where they're regularly pushing out stuff.
They don't need to.
They don't need
some
to.
Actors
and it's just,
are
that's not what they do.
Yeah, some actors are barely on it, and they're on social a little bit, and they'll post here and there. You know what I mean? Some actors rely on it more. You know what I mean? I think a lot of comedians rely on social because why not? Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because it can only help you. And so with that, I feel bad about that because I'm just like, fuck, I should be doing a lot more tweets, making a lot more tweets. I should be doing a lot more sketch content. And so
it's hard though.
I always feel the need to be doing stuff. And it's not like I've been slacking, I have this job. I do the podcast, I just shot a short film that I directed a weekend prior to that. I do self-tapes.
Oh, sweet.
I do self-tapes all the time. You know what I mean? So, I'm between the podcast and the self-tape auditions, because everything's self-tape now, and, directing this other thing and then writing this other short. Between all that, I was like, no, actually, I think I have been very busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is just another, and then there's work, and then this is just another thing. So I don't know.
I think you're right though, in the sense that, and this is where, I think it's important to whatever your job is. If your job is, doing social media, if your job is, you work for an oil manufacturing, I don't know, if you work for an Amazon fulfillment center, whatever it is, it's like taking the time to have time to yourself that doesn't include those things.
Correct.
So if that's reading a book, if that's going for a hike, if it's mountain biking, whatever it is, that for me it's not just good because it's healthy for you to do. I think it's good to just disconnect from, and I'm not saying that from a tech standpoint. I'm saying disconnect from whatever your work is.
Yeah.
If you're constantly thinking about work, then I don't think that gives you an opportunity. It's the same way that I feel about, I think it's good to be bored. And I think that too often people are pacified now by their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people, like, everywhere they go, everyone has to pull out their phone, and they get bored, and they're like, oh, I got to pull out my phone and look and see what's going on, or I got to open YouTube, or it's any app.
I have a pet peeve about that too. Hang on to your thought, where someone is driving with you, and they're just on their phone constantly, and it's just you and them. It's passionate. My girlfriend does that.
You're like, I want to talk to you.
She'll pull out her phone, and she'll be like just fucking around on it. I'm just like, you're not looking around. You're not talking to me. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? The fuck are you here for? Yeah. You know, not her specifically, but that's my. It could be anyone. I just picked on her because she does that, you know, somewhat. And but it could be, you know, it could be anyone that does that. I'm just like, why you know, unless you're responding to like an actual text or something of that nature.
Yeah, but like, be here with me.
Yeah, be here. Just be present.
Be present.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to be bored, because I think that having those opportunities where you aren't pacified by some sort of entertainment is you have the opportunity to think of some new creative idea that might have not passed through your brain before.
Yeah.
And or you look at something like from driving. Sometimes I drive and don't listen to anything.
Yes.
And then you get an idea from something.
Yeah. I'm with you right there, dude. I will drive. I will drive in total psychotic silence. I have no problem with it whatsoever, because I like to get in my own head. That's why I like driving so much, because I like just like the alone time and the time to just say. Phew. That's why when I hike, I won't listen to music. You know, everyone does their own thing, but I like to just be one. I like bathe in the trees, and
I'm vehemently against. Anytime I'm on a trail and someone comes up with their like Beats pill,
fuck you,
and they're like, I got to play my Kygo while I'm on my trail,
ruining the sounds of nature. God. That's the worst. Put on headphones. Quit polluting the fucking...
Yeah, you don't need to be nature's DJ.
Yeah, you do not need to be nature's DJ at all. Nature does not need you or want you, and we definitely don't want you or need you. That's the worst. I find people fucking hike with music just blasting. Fuck you. To anyone listening that does that,
I hate it.
Literally, fuck yourself. That's
if you want to do it if you're camping and you want to listen to music and there's no one else around, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. Do your thing. But if you feel the need to like, I don't know, just DJ the environment, don't do that.
Especially on
stupid.
Yeah, especially on a public, like an actual trail. You know what I mean?
A popular trail.
Because now you're kind of ruining it. It's the same thing with people flying drones around areas that there shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, fucking God, if I had a gun, I'd shoot that thing down. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would just, I'd love it. You know, I wouldn't be able to aim it well, but I would try. I would try really hard. You know what I mean? I would take it down. And then they couldn't fuck with you, because they'd come at you and be like, you shot down my drone. I was like, yeah, but I'm also holding a gun, so maybe step off. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
You're gonna come argue with the guy that just shot down your drone. You know what I mean? First off, he's a good shot. You know? It's not you.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's impressive alone. You know, I mean, that's the new skeet shooting, is shooting down drones. So
yeah,
you know, don't just say I don't own a gun, and I don't know if I would fire it into although I feel like a police officer would understand. He'd be like, oh, okay, he was you know,
he'd probably get it.
You know, a little noise pollution, and you were if anything, you were doing my job for me by shooting it down.
Yeah, he's just gonna shoot it down himself.
Yeah. How's that?
It's like duck hunt.
What do you got going on with the stash? Are you growing it out, or what's up?
It's like this is the only thing that moderately grows.
Yeah.
And then I grow it on my neck.
Yeah.
I grow a strong neck.
And then right here, your face says, "No, 12 years old for life."
Forever. Right here, there's a little bit that comes in right here.
Yeah.
It's pretty patchy though.
Yeah.
In all these spots. And which is very unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for me as someone who's a Star Wars fan who's a perpetual neckbeard, because it's just like, I didn't ask for this.
No,
it's just who I am. It's just my face.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, speaking of social, let's bring it back to Gina Carano. Did I say her name right for the first time?
Yeah, you're close.
Sort of. So
sort of.
I wonder what pressure she felt the need to post, because clearly, if she did indeed, we don't know the full stories behind the scenes, but if she did indeed have that discussion with Jon Favreau and he was like, hey, you know, the people up top are getting kind of upset, maybe you should cool it off with social media for a little bit, or at least, you know, curb what you're going to post. And she was like, nah, not only am I not going to do that, but I'm going to double down. I wonder what her line of thinking was as far as the social media is concerned. If she felt like this desire, right? Because she's obviously not an idiot. She clearly chose to do this because she firmly believes in, agree or disagree, she firmly believes in what she posted, right? Because she would not have risked her whole career. She must have known, right? If she was given any warning,
she had to have known,
right? She doesn't appear to be, a dumb woman. She appears to be a very, seems to be smart to me, at least, little I've seen of her, right? So she had to have at the very least known what she was getting into, what was coming if she posted this thing, and she clearly chose to do it. So I wonder if she's like felt that like need. She's like, nah, man, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I would just love to be a fly inside her brain wall.
Yeah.
Curious as to like what was so important that you had to post that. Do you really feel so persecuted by the left, and that you had to compare yourself to a part of history that is going to give just get the worst reaction from people? It's just going to really piss people off. Like, there's no way you post that without knowing what's gonna transpire afterwards. There's no way you post that photo without knowing that it's gonna get under a lot of people's skins, and rightfully so. Once again, I don't agree with the post, and I don't agree with her ideology in any way, shape, or form. On the fence about whether the punishment fits the crime precisely, but once again, I don't know her deep history, nor do any of us really, with Disney and with her postings. I didn't go through all of her social media.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like she had to have known. Yeah. And what's crazy is right after. I mean, this is a shocker to nobody, but right after she got fired, she was hired by Ben Shapiro's company.
What's that? Not Daily Wire. What is it called?
Well, he runs Daily Wire.
Daily Wire.
Okay. Daily Wire is his website.
Right.
And
they're going to fund her next feature or something of that nature, right?
Or she's going to be in it or
right.
something. He funded a feature recently called, I don't remember what it was called, but it's basically this movie. It's basically propaganda for the NRA. And it's all about how it's important to carry a gun if you're a teacher so that you can take down a shooter in a school. I don't know if entirely that's what it's about, but that's what it seems like it's about.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it's not a documentary. It's a movie, and it shows this girl who has been trained and been brought up her whole life on shooting guns, and that's her background. And in that, it shows her she's like becomes this vigilante who takes down all these school shooters who have come in.
Kind of like Columbine meets Death Wish. Sounds like.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
That's probably how it was pitched. Picture Charles Bronson. Now picture Columbine together. That's the movie. That's the pitch.
So the movie's funded it's produced by Daily Wire. And it says that in the opening credits. It says a movie by Daily Wire.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean,
I assume that she'll star in a similar sort of movie. If that's what's going to happen. If they're looking at
like on Amazon or someone's buying them, right? You got to see the movie somewhere.
Somewhere. I mean, that movie is like, I just saw the trailer for that. It's like about to come out. I think it comes out next month or something.
Is it going to get a fucking theatrical release? I'm kind of interested to see what this fucking dumpster fire of a film might be.
Movie.
That's crazy.
It's called it's called Run, Hide, Fight.
Jesus Christ.
The movie.
Teachers with guns. How about just security and educating our kids and parents paying attention and people paying attention and schools paying attention. It's just that's a tough.
Ben Shapiro is executive producer.
Is he really? Yeah.
Ben Shapiro is executive producer for this.
She must. I mean, here's the thing. She must be so far right Now I'm thinking about it, she must just be so far right. I don't think with her she's like, oh God, I gotta post something, because she could post a fucking, she could post her fucking dinner or something. You know what I mean? So maybe it's not the pressure to create with her; it's the need to post. But she's a brand at that point, right? She's not just an actress; she's a brand at that point, and she must feel so strong with her ideas and her beliefs that she's like, no, this is more important than the potential repercussions of me posting this. She must have had that thought. She must have thought like this could have adverse, really negative effects on my career and my person if I post it, but I believe in this so strongly that I'm going to post it because that's more important. That's the only logical thought, right?
It has to be.
Which is fucking crazy, because here's the thing: 10 years ago, she'd still have a fucking job on Mandalorian, because she wouldn't have. She's not gonna put an ad in the paper and post this shit. There's no. Maybe I need to go further back than 10 years ago, but you get it. I need to go much further.
Totally.
Back than 10 years ago.
But
I need to go before 06 or whenever Twitter came out. But whatever, however many years ago. This would be
not long ago.
Not long ago. This would be a non-issue. And the fact is, due to social media,
we wouldn't know.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. That's right. We wouldn't know. Her close-knit people wouldn't know, and maybe those who she worked with, whoever she discussed with, they would know. But it would be a non-issue. And now, because of this, these things happen.
This is, I think, a learning period for society.
Yeah.
Because I think that in some ways there's good things that have come out of this, because I think that we wouldn't know about all the crazy shit Harvey Weinstein did if people didn't go online and post about their, like, hey, I went through this crazy thing. I mean, they'd have to go to like the paper and be like, hey, I need to talk to a reporter because I want to run this story. And then someone else, like, it would take forever for that to happen.
And you can go the same route with police brutality with African Americans and whatnot, because everything's being filmed. And so now that's a positive. You can't get away with shit now because everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a camera, and everyone can film you. I like that I'm using this as like my prop.
I know.
But now everyone's, you're not going to get away with it now, at least not as easily as you could in the past. And that's a great thing. That's an absolute great thing. And now we know
that's a good thing.
And now another good thing is we know who these people are. We know who people are. You know what I mean? We know what people are thinking if they want to show you and not put up not put up just what they want you to see. Which once again goes back to, she could have put up anything. That's what she chose. She clearly chose.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I think for her, I think the reason why, I think in her mind, her putting up all that stuff is, there's a famous image from World War II, and it's someone objecting like to the Nazis. Mm-hmm. It's been redone in like in the Avengers. There's a clip where someone stands up against Loki. Yeah. It's a very similar sort of ideology, like symbolism. Yeah. And I think for her, it's like, and I think for her, in her mind, she thinks she's that person. She thinks she's the person that's standing up against people that this mob of people, and she's being brave by saying these things. Because at the end of the day, it's like no one thinks that they're the villain of their own
we're all the
movie.
Hero
Everyone
stories.
thinks that they're the hero, and the best villains in movies are the ones that think that they're right.
Yeah,
and so for her, I think that she thinks that she's standing up and doing the brave and right thing, and her getting fired was just her becoming a martyr in her mind.
I think I'm the villain in my own movie, which is weird. It's just like,
but not against anyone, just against yourself.
Myself. Yeah, I'm just like I'm both the protagonist and the antagonist. Mostly the antagonist. Fuck, it's so crazy. Like I said, were I in that position, I mean, if Disney were to hire me and they're like, hey, no posting, period, I'd be like, cool thing, Mickey, done. What else? Where do I sign?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't even be a fucking thought. As a matter of fact, I would absolutely hire a PR person or some handler for when I did want to post something. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to text you when I want to post something. You thumbs up or thumbs down. That's all you got to do. That's your job. Because guess what? The Disney gig's too important to me. I ain't going to fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
but
if I'm thinking bad things, or if I'm thinking things that are too much against the grain, and once again, I guess it comes down to what's more important. To, like I said, this is clearly more important. She was clearly thought that this was her time to stand. And fuck it, if I lose Disney, so what? That's the only thing that she could have thought, which is fucking crazy.
Well, but in her mind, she thinks that she's being like Colin Kaepernick was.
Yeah.
When Colin Kaepernick's like, I'm not going to stop doing what him taking a knee.
Yeah.
He's like, for him, in his mind, he's like, this is the right thing for me to do, and this is right.
Yeah.
And I think for her, she's like, she thought that it was an analogous thing where she thought she was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And being brave by standing up. And Colin Kaepernick got fired by the NFL.
Yeah, and once again, even though I agree with him kneeling, and I feel like he should still be playing in the NFL, and that level of protest is, that's an acceptable and should be an acceptable form of protest. Once again, at the same side, NFL is a business. So while I don't agree with them ousting him, because they're a business, they have a right to not want to be in the, that game as well. The same way Disney doesn't want to be in her game. Once again, I don't agree with her. I do agree with Colin Kaepernick, and I don't agree with the NFL, and I don't know if I agree with Disney or not. But, God, it's just so interesting. But you're right. She must have thought...
I think the thing at the end of the day, though, is that even if you don't agree with why they fired them,
you understand why they did.
I think you understand that at the end of the day, it's a capitalist consumer brand, and if in their mind they're like, this is going to affect the consumption of our product, then we have the right to make a decision to mitigate that.
And that's the case with any company that you work for. Anyone can be like, hey,
any company.
Hey, we don't like what you just posted. We're giving you a warning. Cease and desist, remove it, or things are not going to be so good with us moving forward. And once you get, I'm sure they give her a warning. They had to have given her a warning.
They had to have.
And she must have known that this could have been the straw that broke the camel's back and made the choice anyway to post.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy. I feel like that's different from the need to, it's like I said, I haven't posted in like 2 weeks and I'm being like, oh God, I should be posting more. You know what I mean? I feel like that's different versus, I gotta get this out. I gotta get the word out about how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking write a blog or something, although that would probably get her fired too. I don't know. Or just keep it to your goddamn self. You've been given...
She could post on Parler. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That's fucking... She's been given the king... Like, to already succeed as an actor, to book a role, even a co-star, and I know this from personal experience, to book a guest star, to book a commercial, to book a role of any kind, let alone a recurring kind, let alone a starring kind that makes it past its pilot and gets on air and is received well by critics and fans, and Disney gives you a second season, and then they give you a fucking, all these other levels that you can go through as an actor. She's been given the golden ticket. Okay? She earned, I'm not saying she didn't earn it. I'm not talking about that, but she's won. Any actor that's successful to that level has won the lottery. And I'm not saying that it means they didn't earn it, because a lot of them do, right? But she's been given the golden ticket that a lot of actors would fucking tear their eyes out for. And she's just like, fuck it, this is more important. That side of it kind of pisses me off, because I'm just like, fuck, dude, do you know how many people that are very capable, better actors that are capable of that role, that would fucking... Yeah, and you're just fucking shit it out. And I was like, fuck, fuck her. When I think about that, I'm just like, fuck her, dude. Once again, I think that's fair. I think of all the characters on there, she's one of the more replaceable ones. You know what I mean? I don't think you can replace Pedro Pascal. No. And I mean, I hope they bring back Kara Sackhoff, if I'm pronouncing her name right, from Battlestar Galactica. Cause she's a fantastic
they've got
actress.
And I mean, and Ahsoka's getting her own show. So
that's great. I'm loving what they're doing, but it's crazy, man. You got to be careful. You got to be careful on social, dude. Yeah. I mean,
don't want to end up like James Gunn.
Well, he got taken.
He got it all back. He just went through the ringer.
In his defense, I never thought he should have been fired. You know what I mean? Twitter was a whole different fucking beast back in the day. And if you knew him...
He also apologized forever. Like, he continually apologized for everything.
And if you knew anything...
And he had, before everything went down, he had apologized.
Yeah. And
he's like, I'm not gonna. I already apologized about these.
Yeah, and like that's just him doing a specific brand of humor, and his background I think is with
didn't age well.
Yeah, and his background is with trauma. I mean, you could go. Yeah, that's where this shit gets complicated. Is within cancel culture is like what is and what isn't acceptable. And it's like comedy sometimes doesn't age well. So what you can joke about now, you may not be able to joke about in 5 years or 10 years from now. But jokes that were acceptable in the 70s and 80s are certainly not acceptable now. Look at like 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? That movie is got a lot of jokes that if you were to make that film today, probably wouldn't fly, right? I love that film. I think it's a great movie, but that's a different that's a different thing. I mean, I think it's dangerous when you go back into, especially with, maybe I'm just, hold this a little close to the chest with comedians, but when you go back and, you punish people for things that they were just working out their art and they were working out, seeing what works there and seeing trying to get into comedy, trying to make, a joke. That's what it is. A fucking joke.
Yeah.
In his case, he's making a joke and I'm like, all right, I think that's a little different. And not that you were making the comparison, but I think that's a huge.
No, not at all. He just went through the ringer. And I'm glad they took him back. Yeah.
Like, when they took him back, I was like, oh, good, because
I'm glad they did too. And it's like I thought it was a brilliant move by DC that as soon as Marvel fired him from Guardians of the Galaxy, they snatched him up, and he's doing the reboot of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see that.
Apparently it's going to be great. Like it's early stuff about it. It's still in its early phases, but everyone's like, this movie's going to be nuts.
Real quick, and we're going to end it after this. Do you are you going to watch the Snyder cut of DC?
I'll probably watch
Justice
it.
League?
I'm not that jazzed about it, mostly because most of DC, and I like DC a lot, but most of DC for me, in terms of the movies, I'm talking everything after the Dark Knight trilogy. Ever since they were like, oh, we got to compete with Marvel and make all these DC movies, most of them have not been good.
Correct.
And it's the
Wonder Woman aside.
So for me, the first Wonder Woman, and I'm contradicting what I said on social media, where I said I enjoyed Wonder Woman. The second one,
I haven't
Wonder
seen
Woman
it yet.
1984.
I don't care if you spoil it. I need to see it still.
So here's the thing: we rented out the theater.
Mm-hmm.
We took our families there, and we were able to. We did it on Christmas.
That sounds like a swell time. I like that.
It was great. We were all able to sit in different parts of the theater and do the whole socially distanced thing. It was great. And I had like 4 beers while I was there. And I was like, Wonder Woman's great. This is so good. And then I posted online like right after I saw it. I was like, man, Wonder Woman's fantastic. I think that's what I said. That was my only post, is Wonder Woman 1984 is fantastic. And then I left. I don't have Facebook on my phone. I just use Safari if I ever want to use Facebook. And then later, like a day later, I looked on Facebook and I had all these comments being like, wow, I'm surprised you liked it because it was awful. I'm like, oh, I don't remember it being awful. And it's because I was like drunk while I was watching it.
Oh my God.
But I might watch the Snyder Cut.
I still got to see it. I don't know. I'm going to watch it. I'm not like super excited about it, but I don't hate on Zack Snyder like a lot of people do. I love watching. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I love Watchmen. I love 300. I love Dawn of the Dead. Not crazy about what's the one with the with the girls in the schoolgirl outfits. They're in the home, and it's really all in their brain.
I never saw it. I heard it was really bad. Sucker Punch. Yeah,
that's not a great film. I don't love the, Man of Steel, but I also don't hate it.
I hated Batman versus Superman.
Terrible film.
So bad.
Yeah. I just don't think.
Yeah, but I don't know.
At the end of the day, I don't know if that's his fault so much as it's just the wrong tone, and they went off in a direction that doesn't work. I don't think Superman can be told in the dark like Batman can. Superman is a light character. He is the light, and he is. It
would have been better if they just tried to adapt The Dark Knight Rises or The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh my God, yes,
that's the better story.
Yeah, and that's. Be difficult to adapt the Frank Miller novel, graphic novel, but if they utilize more elements of that would be amazing. I would be.
That's what I thought it was going to be. It seemed like it was going to be that,
and
like then
it.
it was.
Yeah.
It was not.
Yeah.
And
the new Batman looks great with Robert Pattinson.
That
Batman looks fantastic. I still would have loved, like, Ben Affleck was good, but I would love to see like an older Batman that's gruff and way past his prime, like old. I don't know what actor.
Like, I have something that I'd love to see happen. So in the mid '90s, there was a show that came out called Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
it was an animated show.
I remember Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that's where Bruce Wayne is old, and Batman is played by a younger kid, Terry McGinnis.
Right. It's not who's the character though. It's not Dick Grayson. Is it Terry McGinnis the character? Terry
McGinnis is the character, and Terry McGinnis is this new kid who takes on the mantle of being Batman. And Bruce Wayne basically plays like a Barbara Gordon Oracle type character, where he sits in the Batcave and he still has his detective knowledge, but he does it from kind of behind the scenes.
Because he's old as fuck. Yeah.
He's like in his 80s at that point. And I would love to see Michael Keaton play that version of Batman, and then they bring Batman Beyond.
Oh my god, that would be fantastic. I love Michael Keaton as Batman.
So cool.
Michael Keaton's a great Batman.
Yeah.
Great Batman.
He's great, yeah.
Batman, the first Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, is a fantastic film. I mean...
Yeah, so I like Batman Returns also.
Oh my god, Batman Returns is fucking amazing. So dark.
It's so weird.
Dark and weird and fucked up. And not a kid's movie. Also could be considered a Christmas movie, by the way, but...
It could.
Yeah, it could definitely be. Yeah, Danny DeVito is amazing in that. Michelle Pfeiffer. Christopher Walken's in that.
Foxy.
Fuck, dude, that is a cast.
Yeah,
that is a great film. Well, dude, it's been great. I'm glad we ended up finally doing this again. I'd love to have you on as a guest again.
This has been nice.
I know we barely talked about our main topic here, but whatever. That's life. You know what I mean?
This has been nice.
Let's just talk about Star Wars. Let's talk about, you know what I mean? Life's too short. Let's talk about things we like. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, we basically just ripped on Gina Carano for most of it, but whatever. You know, that's still within the Star Wars realm. But the point is that Disney's brought it back for me. I'm once again a believer. And I'll say, well, as Disney Plus is the bee's knees. I've rewatched almost every Marvel movie now. You know,
you're watching
I'm
WandaVision?
watching WandaVision. I'm on episode, I want to say 3 or 4.
Oh, dude, it takes off after that.
Oh, I bet.
It's so good.
I already love it. Yeah.
The show's great. Yeah. I'm all in.
That is a fantastic show. If you're not watching WandaVision, you should absolutely watch WandaVision. That is a great show. But yeah, dude, thanks for coming on and doing this shit, dude. Let me.
Yeah, it's been great.
Let me do my little my outro here. Guys, don't forget we're available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and all standard podcast platforms. Follow us on IG at Let's Hug It Out Podcast, and go to Let's Hug It Out Podcast.buzzsprout.com. Yeah, that's it. You know, you're looking good, kid. You're looking good. You're looking good. What are you watching right now? What's your main show before we go?
It's really only WandaVision. Yeah. WandaVision's like the main one that we watch it every Friday. And, Disney's got a really good content strategy right now where they release stuff every Friday. Yeah. And then and that's basically how the rest of the year is going to look like for Disney Plus. Nice. Like they've got it on, I'm a subscriber for life with them. And it's like, they've got me hooked.
How do you like the AirPods?
Love them. Sally got them for me for my birthday. Aww. And, they're sweet.
How's Sally doing?
So she's good. Yeah.
Did she mountain bike as well?
Yeah. There's actually 2 mountain bikes. So this is on, they're mounted on the wall over here. And so this is hers right here. And then mine's up there. Aww. So
you guys go to you guys pretty casual? Or do you do some hardcore shit?
She's more casual, but I do right literally outside this window right here. There's a network of trails that goes up into the mountains.
Network of trails. I like the way you said that.
A network of trails.
Very corporate of you. Network of trails. We're gonna rendezvous EOD. We'll get
there's some nice synergy going on over here.
Synergy is the most important thing about corporate world. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to pivot.
Yeah. This hiking trail is going to go public next year. We're going to we're going to get it on the NASDAQ,
Yeah.
Get it on Wall Street Bets. See how it does. See how this hiking trail does on Wall Street
Bets.
Deep
fucking value.
Yeah. To the moon, baby.
To the moon. Diamond hands, baby.
Shit. We'll talk about it. Fuck. We can't start that topic now.
I know. We got to
You gotta stop. I'm over my limit. That's okay though. Well, dude, seriously, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Don't actually hang up. Yeah, I'm gonna stop recording in a moment. Okay. So
okay.
That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's Hug It Out with Roberto Raad. Till next time. Bye. You can wave bye too, Steven. Okay, Steven's waving bye. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Let's Hug It Out podcast with Roberto Raad. Follow us on IG at Let's Hug It Out podcast and find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast platforms everywhere. See you next time. Bye.